you ready to do this?
What up, everybody? This is Rob Brandt.
And this is Rick Brandt, and we are the Brothers Brandt.
Welcome back. Episode 151 of the Brothers Brandt podcast, 2023 NFL preview with the legend himself, a dear friend of mine, a dear friend of the pod, Mr. Andrew Field Baldinger. Welcome to the podcast.
Woo, 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 woo!
Thanks, guys. I always enjoy this annual show. What is this, our fourth?
I was thinking
third.
about the same thing. It's just become such a tradition. It's like
Yeah.
it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays with the in-laws. It's just like something you do every year.
Separate text asking if we should bail on Andrew. What the hell are you talking about?
Wow. Didn't know you feel that way, Rick.
No. Come on.
Dynamic where they got text going on. What the hell's wrong with Uncle Bob? Why would he bring salad? Nobody likes pasta salad. Hey, great to see you, Uncle Bob.
Everybody loves pasta salad.
Oh, man,
I'm just Uncle Bob, I guess, right?
into this, but we got to call a spade a spade. We got to start taking accountability for our actions. Rick, I talked to the investors of the podcast yesterday, and they were reviewing our picks, and it was not purdy. Okay, you like that one, Andrew? It was not purdy.
I see what you did there.
They might even drop us if we don't get our stuff together this year. So we got to step it up for our fans, for our listeners, for our faithful, for the investors of the podcast. We got to get this right. It was not a good outcome last year with Andrew with 9 right, myself with, I believe, 10 right, Rick with 12 right. So we got to step it up.
And we will. I'll tell you what, Andrew has been working all off season doing extensive research on this year's season. And I'd be willing to bet he's going to pick 100 out of 100%. It's going to be perfect this year. So stay tuned.
And
I didn't know that's what the listeners want. All right. I'll just get them all right this year.
Exactly. No, that's easy. That's easy. And for those of you listening that aren't familiar with Andrew Field Baldinger, we called him a legend a minute ago. He is an NFL scout for the Jets and the Giants in their DB room. Nobody knows the defensive backs and the defenses better than Andrew Field Baldinger when it comes to the Jets and the Giants. It might be knocking on an assistant coach role soon. You know, I'm maybe defensive coordinator somewhere. So
who knows?
Got to start in the scout room, baby.
That's right. But yeah, I'm excited, guys, and yeah, let's kick this off. We drinking scotch?
Nice.
So, in typical fashion, we'd like to review our divisions one by one. We'll go by and pick who we got and where we stand with it, and then we'll get into our offensive and defensive players of the year, some rookies to watch out for, a potential MVP, and then, of course, our AFC and NFC championships, followed by the Super Bowl picks. So without further ado, let's start in the upper right-hand corner of the United States, the AFC East. Shall we?
We shall.
All right. I think, Andrew, because your name begins with an A, you should go first.
All right. That sounds good. I think this is a division that's kind of contingent on 2 teams that really stand out to me. I would love to give the Dolphins credit if C2 healthy for a full year, but that has not happened. And I don't know. They did get Mike White though, and if anyone who watches AFC East can tell you Mike White can ball. So, I think that the Dolphins are a team that has a good defense with Fangio, but not enough reliability with Tua. So we're going to be looking at the Bills and the Jets. Man, I'll tell you, Jets, they're going all in this year. You don't bring in Dalvin, you don't bring in Rodgers and his friends. Actually, crazy stat: 70% of all of the players who left the Green Bay Packers either went to the NFC North or the New York Jets. So pretty wild. And I think Rodgers is trying to get the gang back together with Hackett. And I think the Jets got this division. I think they're going to take it from the Bills this year. That's where I'm feeling. Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. And Rob, Andrew, why don't you finish off your division? Is it the Patriots or the Dolphins that are in the gutter here?
I think it's going to be the Patriots at the bottom this year. I think it'll be a fight for the basement, but I think the Patriots will.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What a way to start this podcast with the Jets winning the division, something that hasn't happened in, well, a really long time. In fact, they are the team that has the longest active non-playoff streak in the history of the NFL currently. Not since 2010 has this team been in the postseason, and you, my friend, have them in it. I love it. All right, I'll run through mine real quick. I think Josh Allen, DeMar Hamlin, they're back, baby. They're going to be really good up in Buffalo. We know they lost Leslie Frazier on the play calling, but still, I think the Bills take a little step back with as many wins as they had last season, but they still eke it out against the New York Jets. I think those are the two playoff teams coming out of the AFC East. And then the Patriots, followed by the Dolphins, all teams above 500, mind you. That's my pick for the AFC East. Go ahead, Robbie boy.
I'll keep mine quick. Bills number 1, Jets right behind them, like literally right behind them. Maybe it's a 12-5, 11-6 kind of thing right there, right behind them. Fins over 500, and so Bills, Jets, Fins, and then Pats.
I mean, the Patriots only had one quarterback on their roster the other day, so I don't know what Bill's doing up there, but this could be his last hurrah.
That's bold. You're gonna say this is Bill's last hurrah?
We'll see. We'll see.
I do not think it's Bill's last hurrah. Bill leaves when he wants to leave, and
yeah.
Hey, this is recorded here, fellas. This is recorded. We're on record. Let's head on down to the AFC North. This has always been a heated division. You got the Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. Oh my goodness. Andrew, what do you got here?
I think this is anyone's division. I think this is probably the least predictable of them. Each one of them has a quarterback who's dangerous and can do something. Each one has a defense that you really don't want to play. I mean, it is anyone's division. So coin toss, throw it in the air. I don't know. I'm leaning a little bit towards the Bengals. That's where I'm feeling. I think that they're the most complete team right now. It's a tough one, but you could see what the Ravens do. They just brought in Todd Monken, and he loves that West Coast offense. First time they've ever had some receivers, and God knows how long. So they could be a really dangerous team as well. I just don't see the Browns necessarily winning the division, though they're going to be in it. They always play it close, and I mean, we'll see what Kenny Pickett did. He lit it up this preseason. He could be fantastic, and I'm a Pickens believer. So I don't know. It's anyone's game. I'm gonna go with the Bengals. It's what my heart says. It's kind of what my head says, but I'll be, totally fine with anyone else winning the division too. Very talented group of teams.
You just tiptoed that answer like Cooper Kupp did in the NFL. All right. What that was, I don't know, but we've got the Bengals. Who's in second in this division? Ravens, you said?
I mean, that's as much of a toss-up as who gets third and fourth. Sure. Let's go Ravens going second, and then Steelers third, and we'll finish it off with the Browns fourth.
Now, that sounds about right. Browns in the gutter, all right? They've always been in last, pretty much, it feels like.
Andrew,
I think they'll all be 500, though. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew, your first answer sounded like seafood jambalaya or seafood, where you don't know who's in control, who's coming out of that dish right there. It's just a mixed pot. You get a scallop here, you get a shrimp here, you get a little piece of lobster there. We don't know what's happening.
Well, what's your answer?
All right, let's get to it. I'm taking the Bengals in this division. In fact, I think Joe Burrow, a new contract, hopefully in the next couple of days, will guide Joe Burrow to the number 1 AFC playoff position. I think the Bengals are going to be dominant this year with that offense. Ravens and Lamar Jackson, he's back, baby. He's going to play really, really well too. They'll get the wild card. The Browns above 500, but no postseason. And the Steelers make some progress with Pickett, but also no postseason run for them.
All right. You guys are both wrong. The Ravens are going to win this division. This team is going to be so electric. Lamar Jackson let's just say we'll save it for a little bit later, but has a running for something, some title at the end of this. Title for another newcomer on the team, which I'll get to later on. But the Bengals are going to be absolutely electric. They're so one-dimensional with Lamar Jackson, and the only receiver on the team was their tight end, Mark Andrews. They go in the offseason. They get OBJ, who seen better days, but then they pick up Zay Flowers in the draft, and this guy has been an absolute beast. They get J.K. Dobbins back off the injury. It's gonna be a shootout. I like the Ravens, the Bengals right behind them, like a win behind them. And then the Browns make the playoffs. And then the Steelers, again, Rick, I like your comment. They make some progress, but they're not there yet. This is an incredibly tough division.
3 AFC North teams make the playoffs.
100% electric.
Okay. This is unbelievable, guys. I don't even know if I can go on. We're off to such a hot start.
But let's go on.
All right, shall we? All right, let's get down into the AFC South here, sticking in conference. Now here you've got the Texans, the Colts, the Jags, and the Titans. What do you say, Andrew?
I mean, why should we stop the Trevor Lawrence train last year? I mean, it's going to keep rolling, and the team got better. I think that this is going to be clear cut. Jacksonville wins AFC South. And let's see who's not the worst of the other three. I mean, we're going to be looking at some quarterback changes with Tennessee inevitably. So, whether it's Levis, but I really think it's going to be Malik Willis. Richardson is not only a starter, but a captain. And then we have CJ Stroud, second overall pick too. So I think it's a lot of teams in the rebuild versions. I think Tennessee is going to be rethinking how to approach offense because what they're doing is not going to win the AFC. So I think Vrabel's smart enough to know that. Look, I think it's going to go in this order. We're going to go with Jacksonville 1, 2, Houston Texans. I believe in Captain Mecco. 3 is going to be the Titans, and 4 is going to be the Colts.
Okay, I like it. I like the clarity on this division. This is excellent. Andrew, you're right. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good year, but I still think the Tennessee Titans are going to take down the crown this year of the AFC South. If Derrick Henry, King Henry, can stay healthy, which I believe he will, these Titans will get into the postseason. I've got the Jaguars finishing just behind them, missing the postseason. Colts and then the Texans both down towards the bottom of the division. That's how I got it playing out. Robert, what do you say?
We're going to go with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. This offense is just stacked. Love it. Calvin Ridley, a lot of people just writing him off. He had no injury. He just liked to gamble. Just like to live life a little dangerously on FanDuel. Who doesn't like throwing a little parlay together every Sunday, right? So anyway, the Jags are going to absolutely destroy this. I mean, who could forget their win against the Chargers last year? That was just absolutely epic. Jags. And then I'm just going to shock you guys right now, and I'm going to say the Colts. The Colts are coming in second.
Wow.
Then Shane Steichen came over from the Birds. Go Birds. But he had Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson, same comments. Oh, great athlete, but he can't throw the ball. Great athlete, but can't throw the ball. Same thing that they said about Jalen Hurts. Great athlete, can't throw the ball. And then he was the second best or one of the best accuracies in the NFL. I think that Anthony Richardson will figure it out. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think any team besides for the Jags are going to make the playoffs in this division. But I think that Anthony Richardson is going to be super fun to watch. He's going to win a lot of people fantasy. He's going to be dynamic on the legs and dynamic on the ground with the legs. And then, so I got the Colts coming in number 2. A little bit above 500. Then I got the Titans coming in a little bit below 500. And then I got the Texans at the bottom.
All right, we'll see how things shake out in the AFC South, but that should be a fun division to watch. Let's wrap up the AFC with the West here, folks. Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. What do you got, Andrew?
So I'm going to go Chiefs, are going to win the crown. No mistakes this year. I was a little edgy last year, but Mahomes is clear cut the best NFL player, pound for pound, undeniable, and he runs this division. It goes through him. So that's it. Even if Chris Jones isn't there, he can still keep up. I'm not too concerned. This is where it gets interesting. If the Chargers can stay healthy, I think that they have probably one of the best rosters in the NFL. But I don't believe in the head coach. I don't believe in play calling recently. Kellen Moore should help, but TBD. I like Sean Payton a lot. I like what he can bring to the table. I think the way he ran the Saints was incredible. So, second team is going to be the Broncos. I think that Russell Wilson can chalk up a lot of issues to Nathaniel Hackett. So, Chargers 3 and real hot seat. We could all feel it from here for McDaniels right now with the Raiders.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Now, the Raiders were your division pick last year, as was it for Rob. I don't know what you guys were smoking prior to the podcast, but this year, I think you finally got it back on track. Patrick Mahomes, division winners. You can't go against them, as you said. I do believe in Kellen Moore and that offense clicking. I do like the Chargers to also make the postseason as a wild card team. The Raiders, they can't get out of their own way. Josh Jacobs, what's going on in Vegas? This is just not a good situation out there. Best thing they've got is their new stadium. And then the Broncos, their roster has stayed practically the same as it was last year. They just brought in a new coach who is awesome. We love Sean Payton, but I don't think the Broncos are going to do much this year, guys. Russell Wilson, I don't know if it was a fluke, but he's getting older. Could be the end of Russell Wilson. There's how I have it. Rob?
Rick, I'm going to keep this really simple. I got the same exact thing as you. Okay. The only thing that the Chargers are looking really scary on offense right now, and I love every second of it. Chiefs, they don't have Jones sitting out. We'll see. It could be Chargers Chiefs or Chiefs Chargers, but you never bet against Patrick Mahomes. Okay. And Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. You don't do it. That's like the Brady era. You just don't bet against Brady and Belichick. Like, you're not going to bet against Mahomes and Reid. All right. I see both you guys shaking your head. You just don't do it.
I love it, Rob. I love it. All right, folks, let's slide into the NFC picture here, and we're going to go in the East first. Andrew, why don't you kick us off and tell us what you have shaken out in the NFC East, sir?
So for our listeners who aren't viewers, there's a lot of apparel going on in each one of the boxes. So I think this might be the most divisive, especially with my answer. Number one is going to be the New York Giants. I would say that they were the off-season winner this year. Darren Waller, getting more and more players. I really like the Isaiah Simmons, getting him rejuvenated. That was a great trade. I mean, they look like a really good team. Wink Martindale defense is nothing to rest on when you're playing them too. He blitzes a ton, and I think he has the pieces that he needs to bring back that really strong Ravens defense that he commanded a while back. Daniel Jones finished so high. I love that win he had against the Vikings last year in the playoffs. He faced a really good Birds team. So, that's kind of what I'm chalking it up to, though. I think this is a good year for the Giants. I think they can capitalize right now, and not a lot of people are giving them the credit where it's due. So go Big Blue.
Wow. So we're going to go Giants, and then how does the rest of the division shake out, do you see?
Sure. Let's go Eagles at 2. Still a really solid team. I think they'll beat up most of their opponents. Big Blue gets in because of division wins. Then I'll go Cowboys and Commanders at the bottom.
Wow. Okay. Unbelievable. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, I'll get right into it, folks. For the first time ever in the history of the NFL, we're going to see something that we've never seen out of a division before. And it is because they've expanded how many teams can make it into the postseason. Now we have 7 teams. What does that mean? 1 division winner from each division. And then there's 3 wild card spots up for grabs. Historically, there used to be just 2. Well, I think what we're going to see for the first time ever is all 4 teams in this division make the postseason. That's right. I
Wow.
said it. Call me crazy, but I'm going out on a limb. And as much as I want to pigeonhole the Eagles for having lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators, which is a big, big issue, their roster is just so good. And I think it got even better through the draft. It's the Georgia Athens Bulldogs of the Northeast are up there on defense. Those guys are going to be really good. They're going to be tough. I think this could possibly, again, be the best team in the NFL, the Eagles, throughout the season if they stay healthy. The weapons on offense are endless. Give me the Birds, followed by the Giants. I liked what you said, Andrew. I think the G-Men and Saquon are going to just ball out this year. Their coach is clearly the right coach. And then I've got the Commanders. I think the Commanders are going to come out of nowhere and shock some people this year. They're going to get in as a wild card. And my Dallas Cowboys are going to slide into the postseason as a number 7 in the NFC East.
Rocking the swag, and he picks them to come in last, but yet make the playoffs. They're going to lose in the wild card like they always do.
Didn't see that coming.
Going to put Tony Pollard at center.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right. I mean, that was cute, Andrew. That was cute. Yeah. No, I don't know what MetLife is serving you in the box when you're, doing scouting and all that stuff. They might be slipping you some Dom Perignon or something like that to say that plug here.
Shout out to Delaware North and their catering services.
Phenomenal chicken tenders. So anyway, we're going Eagles number 1. I mean, Rick, you said it. They got better in the draft. I can go on and on about this team, rocking the Birds right here. Look, they're going to win the division. I think their record might be less than last year just because their schedule was ranked one of the easiest last year. So their record might be less than last year, but don't let that fool you. They're a phenomenal team. Jalen Carter, I'm just going to leave you guys with this. Reports out of Jalen Carter. He broke a sled. He literally broke one of those sleds, Andrew, at a training camp. And his first play in the NFL, they play the Ravens, and he just pushes an all-pro guard or tackle out of the way and creates a quarterback hurry. So they're going to wreak havoc in the trenches. You win and lose football games in the trenches, and the Eagles have the best offensive and defensive line in the NFL. So they're going to come atop 1. The Giants are going to be phenomenal. They're going to make the playoffs. They're coming in number 2. The Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. They're number 3. I don't know if the Commanders are going to make the playoffs. They might be a fringe team there, Rick. That would be pretty cool. First time in history seeing all 4 teams make it. But that's what I got. Birds, G-Men, Boys, Commanders.
Wow. You knew you would Eagle. Always knew you would pick the Eagles, Rob. That's your team, and hopefully, for your sake, they can make it back to the Super Bowl.
They are.
Okay, beautiful. I love it. Let's keep this gravy train rolling here, folks. The NFC South is filled with a lot of chaos, a lot of off-season storylines. Andrew, give us the rundown where you think this one's going to finish.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams with different narratives and storylines. Some are rebuilding, some have their future, and some are definitely moving on to bigger and better things. So where I'm falling with this logically, New Orleans Saints will win this division. They have a really good run defense, and I think that's a staple to the South when things go bad, is to run the ball. So I'm pretty confident with their defense. Offense, bringing in Carr. This guy has a lot of experience on his side. That's going to be huge for them. They're going to have to rely on more than just a run game this year. So getting it to hopefully a healthy Michael Thomas, a Chris Olave, who looks so explosive, and bringing back Jimmy Graham. I mean, what's not to be excited about with the Saints this year? I think that they have a lot going for them right now in a pretty weak division. So let's go Saints taking it. 2, this
Make
is
my wife a very happy man.
really okay.
Woman.
Awesome. All right. Well, who day? Now 2. This is a toss up. but I'm smelling a little bit of a redemption for Baker Mayfield here. I think we'll start seeing maybe like a Geno year of what we saw with Geno last year. You know, a little bit more mature, has command of the offense, has really good weapons. I like what I see with Tampa. Still very strong defense. They should be able to win enough just to come in second. Third, I mean, this is tough, but I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I think they're a little bit more talented than the Panthers. And Arthur Smith definitely has to win some games. This is a crucial year for him. So 3 is Atlanta, and then Bryce Young has a lot of learning to do. It's not a good offensive line of what we saw in preseason. They're going to be trying to piece together some things, I think, in order to have a good future. So that's my order: 1 Saints, 2 Tampa, 3 Atlanta, and then on the bottoms the Panthers.
Wow, unbelievable. I'll tell you what, if man, if I didn't see the results from last year's pick, I'd be a little nervous about my picks this year. But I'm going in almost the exact opposite order here, Andrew. Give
Wow.
me Bryce Young, this rookie stud at quarterback. The Panthers are going to shock the NFC. They're going to win the division. Desmond Ridder and those Falcons are going to look feisty, but they're going to miss out on the postseason. And then the Saints, I love the Saints. Who doesn't like the Saints? But I just think that they got too many missing pieces on the roster. I love their quarterback. I don't know what's happening at the head coaching position. I don't know if he knows what's going on at the head coaching position. And then the Bucs, wouldn't be surprised if we see Baker Mayfield in more commercials than we do starting lineups this year. Rob,
Wow.
Wow, that was pretty good argument there, Rick. But I'm going to lean on the shoulders of Andrew Baldinger because we have the exact same card right there. Saints 1, Bucks 2, Falcons 3, Panthers 4.
Wow, I love it. I love it, you guys. Well, hopefully you two are wrong, but that should be a fun division. None, needless to say. All right, let's go to the North here now. This one is going to be a fun division to talk about. Andrew, break it down for us, would you?
Finally, Rogers is gone. So that should open up some things. I think so. I'll tell you what, Lions look real primed to be winning this division. So I'm leaning on them. Goff looked good. Looks like he has some control and confidence in this team. I like the way he finished last year. And I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think this guy is going to be an absolute all-star, a must-have on your PPRs. He's just going to be utilized all over the field. I think he's going to be stellar. So 2, I think this is really dependent on how well Fields plays, and is Jordan Love a good quarterback to replace? And then of course with the Vikings, I mean, they are absolutely star-studded as well. They just re-signed Hawk. They got Justin Jefferson. They got Addison in their first round. So yeah, this is also kind of a toss-up in there. I like the Vikings based on what we saw last year. I think they will learn how to close the door a little bit more, and finish some games more than just one possession. And then that lead with Bears at 3 and Packers at 4.
Wow. All right. Aaron Rodgers is no more in the division, and you've got them in the basement. Just before I go on here, Andrew, you are buying into the hype all around the league, whether it's the Jets, the Jaguars, the Lions. I love it. I love all the buy-in here. Now,
if you got hype, sell it to Andrew. Sell it to he's buying.
He's buy. Now, Rob, I have to give you some credit because you saw through the weeds, through the ships. And when I say ships, I mean Viking ships. Last year, you took the Vikings and you were right. Now, granted, they lost to the Giants in the first round after having won the division in the postseason. Very embarrassing for the organization. But needless to say, Rob, great job picking the Vikings last year, trying to go against the trend. Well, folks, I'm buying your Vikings, Rob. I think they're going to win the division. Yes, I understand. There's no Thielen, they're Cook, but I still think they got some good weapons there. They got a really solid core, and that's what wins in the NFL. Good teams. So give me the Vikings. The Lions miss out on the playoffs. The Packers in 3rd, and the Bears Justin Fields is going to look like a mistake pick by the end of this season. All right, Robbie, take this division home.
Don't say that about my fantasy quarterback, Justin Fields. Don't say that.
Bad juju.
All right, so let me just say here. So the Vikings are going to win this. I'm buying the hype with the Lions. They're going to make the playoffs. They're coming in second, but the Vikings, Jordan Addison, I mean, he looks good. I mean, these one-handed catches. It's like at the end of the year, it's going to be Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison as a combo. Like, is this the best combo in the league? Like, because Jefferson's good for 10 and 101 on the stat line every single time, it seems like. And then you got TJ Hawkinson signed to a massive deal. They're going to be feeding him the rock. You got 3 solid wide receivers. You got Alexander Madison, who's pretty much a wide receiver himself in the backfield. They're just going to put up a lot of points. I can't speak too much about their defense, but I know their defense is good. I don't know if it's great, but I think it's good. Average, good, but they're going to put up a lot of points. The Lions as well. Love Dan Campbell. Man, Hard Knocks last year sold me on Dan Campbell. I'm like, I just love this guy. I want him to win so badly. Anyway, the Lions are going to come in at number 2. They're going to make the playoffs. The Bears are going to come in at number 3. Justin Fields. They got DJ Moore. That's not enough to get you to the playoffs. That's not enough to get you past the 3rd spot in the division. You need more than that. They're going to be fun to watch, though. Justin Fields is going to be an outstanding fantasy selection. I mean, just look at the back half of last year. This guy it looked like backyard school ball. The guy was just running for 100 yards on 10 rushes. It was a lot of fun. And then, the Packers in the basement right there, rebuilding after the departure of the entire team to the New York Jets. Moving on, Rick, let's move on to the last NFC.
That's a breakdown if I've ever seen one. My goodness. All right. Geez. I don't know if we should go on, but we will, because we have one more division to go. It's the NFC. Wild, Wild West. Andrew, you've been fantastic so far. You're probably 7 out of 8 on division so far. Finish this one off here. NFC West, sir. What do you say?
All right, let's bring it on home with the Niners taking this. It is too clear cut from a roster standpoint, just execution as well. I mean, it's hard to sway me that another team will be even remotely as competitive as the Niners in this division. Looks like they got their answer at quarterback. Defense is very sound. They are definitely the team to beat in the NFC, period. Then next, we'll have the Seattle Seahawks in second. Definitely some good players in there. I think they'll have to be a team we monitor throughout the rest of the season. But I think, your ceiling is Geno, and whatever that is, it is. I'm not sure he'll be able to take you where you want. Defense looks like it has some pieces that are going to be crucial for the long haul. So like them there. 3 Rams. I mean, they still have Aaron Donald, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the best defensive player in the league. It's just one of those things where we don't really know too much about Kupp. Who's number 2? I have my concerns about the Rams. And who are the Cardinals? Chubbs is their quarterback for Sunday. They don't have an identity. They don't know who they are. They're selling people left and right. They'll probably get rid of Buda Baker as well. I could just see this being a absolute crash and burn for Caleb Williams next year for the draft. So that's where my head's at. What do you think, Rick?
I think you picked this division spot on, sir. Everything that you said was 100% accurate. And I do believe the 49ers are going to be the team to reckon with. They'll be the number 1 team in the conference, in the entire conference, followed closely by the Birds. But I've got the 49ers winning in this thing. The Seahawks above 500, but missing out on the postseason, and Rams and Cardinals in the absolute below basement. I mean, you got to go and dig underneath the basement to find the Rams and Cardinals at the end of this season. That's how bad it's going to be. Rob, what do you got?
Yeah, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, and then the Cardinals. I mean, I follow this thing on Instagram, NFL memes, and they are just burying the Cardinals. The head coach who came over from the Birds, just it's embarrassing. It's just not good. Quarterback situation's not good. Everything's not good. I would project a 1-16 record with this team, 2-15 record.
I just got to say how much fun it was going through each division, and it was almost just perfect harmony where the final division, we all had it identical, and it was just a blast beating up on the Rams and the Cardinals there to top the little cherry on the top of it all. Now, let's get into the postseason here, and let's get into some awards, guys. We do such a good job of picking divisions every single year. Let's look at MVP, offensive and defensive rookies of the year. Let's start with the young guns and the first timers. Andrew, and guys, just for the record, both last year, the offensive and defensive rookie of the years came from the same New York Jets team. That's unheard of. Shout out to their scouting department for just hauling in those two gems. I doubt they'll do it again this year. They really won't. But Andrew, who do you like to be this year's offensive rookie of the year?
For this year's offensive rookie of the year, it's going to be a team that drafted him with a game plan, and they need him to set the tone. I'm talking about Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons. This guy is going to be the bell cow. He's Mr. Do-It-All. He is his own blocker. I think he is going to be the foundation for the Falcons for the next few years. So give it to him. That's my staple there.
I want to hear from you. Do you think that he's going to get close to 2,000 yards this year with the amount of carries they give him? Where do you foresee him fitting in?
I could see him getting close to 2,000 with receiving yards. I think that's something I feel very confident on. They still got a decent running back with Algier, so I could see some spare. They're trying to spare him a little bit. I imagine he'll be on account. You can't let him play too much. I think aiming around 1,800 yards would be, I think, fair for him, and I would say probably 9 touchdowns would be a realistic expectation for him.
Very cool. That'd be a great boost for the organization and maybe give the fan base some hope that they're on the right track. Well, for me, guys, in that division, the NFC South, I picked, if you recall earlier, the Carolina Panthers to shock everybody and get into the postseason with a 9-8 record. They are going to be led by their rookie quarterback, Bryce Young. Give me Bryce Young to lead the ship and be off rookie of the year for the NFL. Rob, who do you have?
Yeah, Rick, I'm going to follow in Andrew's footsteps here, going Bijan Robinson. I said earlier, maybe Zay Flowers, but Andrew, you swayed me a little bit there.
Rob's buying.
And I'm buying the hype, had to rethink everything a little bit there. Zay Flowers on a team. He's fighting for targets. He's going to have a great year. He's going to put up 1,000, right? He's going to put up 1,000. Jordan Addison's going to have a great year. They got all the things in place. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to put up a great year. It's going to be a battle, but Bijan lands in that spot that you said it. He's their everything. He
was a stud running back in college last year for the Longhorns. So that would be really cool for Texas Nation. Now let's get on the defensive side of the ball here. Andrew, talk to us about who on the defensive side is just going to stand out in their first year in the NFL.
So Texans had the second pick, but that wasn't enough for them. They wanted to trade in again for the Cardinals to get this guy. So we have Will Anderson Jr. coming from Alabama. I think this guy is going to be a game wrecker. I think he'll be having 11, maybe 12 sack season as a rookie. Why not? This is a division that isn't super strong on line play. I think he can really get in there and make an immediate impact and be a household name for the team. they needed that since JJ's been gone. So let's get, another foundational piece for the defense who is going to be, I think, a stellar player for them. So that's my pick.
Andrew, I love that pick. We all know the Texans are going to struggle on offense. They're going to spend the majority of their game on defense. So that is a great pick. I definitely think that could be a high contestant for Rookie of the Year on defense. Rob's going to love my pick. It's Owens from Georgia. I think on that defense, they've got so many people out there that can make an impact. He's probably not going to get double teamed as much as he was last year in college, which is why some of his senior stats were a little bit lower than they were the previous season. But I think he's going to have a major impact. He's going to get freed up, and he's going to lead those Eagles to another division championship and Rookie of the Year. Rob?
Yeah. I love the Nolan Smith pick. He's going to have a great year, but I'm going to go back to the guy that broke a sled this year. He's been all over the hype train everywhere, not just in Eagles camp. We got to go with Jalen Carter. And kind of to your point, Andrew, it's like, you come to a team and they have a game plan, right? Well, the rich get richer in the NFL draft with the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman Cook. I don't know what he owes everybody else in the league, but he is just picking up defensive talent everywhere. Picked up Jalen Carter at the number 9 spot. And to your point, Rick, there's so many weapons on defense that they can't double team him. So Will Anderson Jr., phenomenal. He's going to get double teamed. He's going to get double teamed on the line every single game. He'll break it. He's that good. But Jalen Carter, it's just going to be one-on-one battles. And I think he's just going to dominate.
Guys, this is going to be a fantastic season. Who is going to have the most fantastic season on the field? I ask you, gentlemen, now. Who is going to win the most valuable player award at this year's NFL honors? Andrew, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of names are running through my head. I think that there's going to be a lot of star-studded plays this year. I don't know, man. I mean, I want to go with Mahomes. That's what my head's saying. He can do it again. He did it last year with arguably a worse team. So I'm saying he's going to get back to back. Why not?
Wow, that would be epic. That would be epic. Now, for me, guys, I said the Eagles were going to win the NFC East. I believe that. And I really loved Jalen Hurts when he was in college, even when he was at Alabama, and then he went to Oklahoma. Nobody is going to keep this man down. And I think this man just got paid. He is going to just ball out, and he is going to be this year's most valuable player.
Rick, we're drinking the same juice over here.
Wow.
Going to be MVP of the league. You have to remember he was out 3 games last year with an injury, and still put up those absurd numbers. But it's his demeanor. He's calm. He's like a duck. He's calm. Feet may be going everywhere else, but you listen to him, and he's just so calm about who he is, what he's going to do. He walks the walk. He talks the talk. He's a great leader. He's who everybody wants as their quarterback. It doesn't matter if he's on the Eagles. You want him as your quarterback. The league did not punish the tush push. So you're going to see that in full effect on the goal line. This man's going to have so many rushing touchdowns, but he just got better. His team just got better. His defense just got better. So I think Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP this year.
Wow. Excellent, Rob. Good pick. And I think we need to segue now into our final section of this year's podcast tradition of our AFC and NFC matchups with a Super Bowl champion. So, Andrew, let's start in the AFC. Who is your AFC championship game? What does it look like at the end of January?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one per usual. It always is. But it's going to be, I think, a relatively straightforward road for the Kansas City Chiefs to be in the AFC championship game. And then if I'm looking at the rest of the division, I think there's a lot of ways every other team can sneak in. But using my head here, I think a good Bengals Chiefs matchup sounds logical. I think that sounds right. Let this be, I think, a tradition, like something we always think about in the 2020s of the classic games of Mahomes against Burrow. This is going to be something like, in my mind, like, Peyton against Brady, like one of those matchups, man. So let's bring it back with that. And I see the Chiefs squeaking that one out. That's how I think this is going to play out. Then on the NFC side, I got the Niners. They're going to make it. But the surprise team, I think it's a surprise team, is the Giants. I think it's going to be another Giants-Niners matchup in the NFC. It's super exciting there. And the Giants will move on forward and play the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Wow. Wow. I
Saying
cannot
that,
wait to hear what your
get tickets and
pick
thing if
is.
win.
I cannot believe that. And for the record, the Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes matchup, is that going to take place at Burrowhead? Where is the game going to be played? Who's going to be the number one highest ranked team there?
I'd imagine it's going to be at Arrowhead Stadium. I think that's where we'll see it. It'll be a snow game. It's going to be real nice. We'll love it.
Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. Unbelievable. Rob, we're going to get to yours in just a minute, but I'll give you guys my predictions right here. So I like Joe Burrow and the Bengals very much, gentlemen. I think he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to have a great season. And I think him and Justin Herbert are going to duke it out for the AFC. And that would be pretty cool. Los Angeles Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. That would be a fun quarterback matchup. In the NFC, I told you earlier that I had all 4 teams in the NFC East make a postseason. I believe that the NFC Championship game will consist of 2 of those 4 teams. What teams, you ask me? Drum roll, please. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And gentlemen,
Wow.
I know you guys have been waiting for this moment, but I think it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals that are going to converge on the Strip in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Bengals and Cowboys, book it now, gentlemen. Book it now.
Wow. Andrew, thoughts?
That's a nice dream. I just don't see. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? Is there's no way the Cowboys are getting past the Niners in the playoffs, right? Like, can you view that happening? It seems to be just this like Achilles heel is of the Cowboys is having to go against the Niners and they get smacked. So hopefully that's the road of least resistance, is not facing the Niners for your sake. But I could see, why not? I could see the Bengals winning that game. I have them going in the AFC Championship. So who says they can't beat Mahomes and anyone else they face? In your case, the Chargers. I think one-on-one they can beat the Chargers, no problem.
Third time's the charm here, Andrew, because you're absolutely right. The 49ers have knocked out the Dallas Cowboys in back-to-back seasons from the postseason. I don't see this happen in a third straight year. Rob, go ahead. Give me what your picks are. I want to hear these.
All right. AFC, pretty straightforward. You got the Chiefs there. Okay. So Chiefs, 1 seed, going to the AFC Championship game. Now, who are they battling? It could be the Bills. Could be the Bengals. No. Hype train over here. Hype train. It is the New York Jets battle in Arrowhead in an epic game that unfortunately will be decided by the Chiefs winning. Okay, so we got the Jets and the Chiefs winning. And then on the flip side in the NFC, we got a rematch of last year. We got 49ers, Eagles. I think it even might be in the Bay. I think that the 49ers will have the best division, best record in the NFC, just because the Eagles got a little bit tougher schedule this year. But I think that the Eagles come on top. I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was last year, where it was kind of a blowout. So I think it's going to be the Birds and the Chiefs back in the Super Bowl, rematch of last year. I'm not going to tell you who wins yet, but we'll get to that.
That would be unbelievable. Rob, I have a question for you as we wind down this podcast here. Last year, did you and Aaron Rodgers go on that retreat together? Were you guys together in that dark space?
I had a conflict. I had a conflict. I would have been there. I had a conflict.
I mean, because let me just go back to what I said earlier, the June to the playoffs in 14 years, and you all of a sudden have got them going to the championship game. God bless you. All right. Andrew, give us your Super Bowl prediction, sir.
What I'm seeing here, I'm going to have the New York Giants playing the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a game of RPOs. It is going to be a game of who plays cleaner football, but more importantly, it's going to be a game of time possession. And it's going to be, I think, a very similar match to how Tom Brady beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to go New York Giant victory over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. Wow. If that man isn't on the payroll up in East Rutherford, I don't know what to tell you. By the end of this year, he might be running their front office. Andrew, I love it. I love it. That is the bold predictions we look for on the Brothers Brand podcast. Patrick Mahomes will be denied his third Super Bowl ring and his third Super Bowl MVP by quarterback Daniels, Duke. I like it. But Saquon Barkley, that could be pretty epic. That would be pretty cool.
No one's hungrier for a contract than Saquon Barkley. He just got his 1-year deal and the incentives are nuts and he's looking for that 5-year extension. So he's going to be running real hard this year.
He just seems like, I've never met the guy, but just a really, really good dude. And he always seems to do the right thing by the team. And it would be a Cinderella kind of situation if you look back at the end of the season for him to win the MVP of the Super Bowl, get that contract, and lock up his career in New York. I would love to see that for his sake. I am going to keep things in the NFC East flavor. We know Rob will for sure. I am going to keep the Cowboys on top in the NFC East, winning the entire Super Bowl, defeating Joe Burrow and the Bengals in what will be a classic Super Bowl. And that, my friends, is my Super Bowl prediction for this year. Rob, bring us home with your Philadelphia Eagles pick. Tell us how they do it and what the score will be.
All right, look, so I think last year you can't win a Super Bowl giving up 38, 35 points. I think the Birds are going to put up 38. I think the Chiefs are going to put up 27, 30 points, but I think it's going to be the Eagles 35, 38, something like that, against 27, 30 to the Chiefs. So,
Rob, that would be epic because last year the Chiefs got the better of them. This year you're saying the Eagles are going to get the better of them. And maybe next year we have a little rubber
match.
Gentlemen, this is always my favorite podcast of the year. The Super Bowl is many months away, but the NFL regular season is upon us. Things kick off this Thursday night with the Kansas City Chiefs, who will be hoisting their banner from last year's Super Bowl championship. I wish you all the greatest, best football season you could possibly ever have in your fantasy leagues, in the scouting departments. Gentlemen, enjoy the games. The football season is here. Andrew, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Always happy. Let's have a good season, boys.
All right, there we have it, folks. I'm Rick Brandt.
I'm Rob Brand, and we're the Brothers Brand. Thanks for listening.